Hello everyone. So today let's discuss the next cell organelle of the cell, the unit of life. Okay, and this is the mitochondria. Now, when we are telling or discussing about mitochondria, that means this is the cell organelle which is also known as the powerhouse of the cell. Now, why we are calling it as the powerhouse? That means this particular structure is associated with the synthesis of energy molecule, that is ATP. ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. It is the energy currency of a cell and it is involved in providing energy to all metabolic activities. Okay. Now, the term mitochondria, it was actually first of all given by Benda in the year 1897, but it was first observed by Kolliker. Okay. Now, mitochondria, this particular cell organelle, it is actually present in aerobic eukaryotes and they definitely take part in oxidative phosphorylation, Krebs cycle, etc. Okay. Now, this organelle is actually absent in prokaryotes. That means in lower organisms it is absent, and even in anaerobic eukaryotes, that means the eukaryotic organisms which do not require oxygen. Okay, so that particular anaerobic eukaryotes also mitochondria is not observed. Then this appears randomly distributed throughout the cytoplasm. Okay, in the cytoplasm this particular structure occurs just here and there. Now its shape is basically cylindrical. You can already see here, okay, somewhat cylindrical shape, and its size may vary. The length is about 1 to 4.1 micrometer and diameter about 0.2 to 1 micrometer. Okay. And when we are talking about chemical composition, so definitely it consists of proteins, lipids, RNA, DNA and minerals. Now proteins, about 60 to 70% proteins are present. Then lipids about 25 to 35%, RNA 5 to 7% and DNA very little quantity, traces amount are present, and minerals, some traces of minerals, granules, magnesium and calcium phosphate. Okay, so this is all about the powerhouse, that is the mitochondria of the cell. Now let's study the structure of mitochondria. Okay, the ultrastructure of mitochondria, which reveals that the whole structure, it consists of two membranes. Now as you can see in this diagram, it is already labeled that the outer layer, that is called the outer membrane. Okay, now this outer membrane is a compact structure. Now as it is a membrane, so definitely it will have a unit membrane structure. Okay, now this membrane encloses the inner membrane. Now inner membrane is comparatively larger than the outer membrane, so in order to adjust here, it shows or creates some infoldings. These particular infoldings are known as the cristae. Okay, then within this membrane matrix is present, which consists of different substances. Now let us discuss this particular structure in detail. The outer membrane, it is actually a smooth one. As you can see in the diagram itself, it is a smooth membrane. It is permeable to a number of metabolites. It consists of some protein channels called porins. Okay, earlier also we have discussed about porins. So these porins help to transfer some particular structures. Then they are connected to lipid synthesis. Okay, some enzymes are present. That particular enzymes are related to lipid synthesis. Then this particular outer membrane, it encloses a chamber which is known as the outer chamber. That means the chamber in between the outer and the inner membrane. The outer chamber, it is also known as the perimitochondrial space. It is the space between the two membranes. It consists of a fluid-like substance which consists of a number of enzymes. Okay, so all these things are present in this outer chamber. Then next, immediately comes the inner membrane. This inner membrane is permeable only to some particular metabolites. Okay, others cannot pass through it. Moreover, it is rich in double phospholipid, which is known as cardiolipin. And due to the presence of this cardiolipin, it does not allow, okay, ions to pass through it. That means it becomes impermeable for the ions. Then here different structures are present, like the main thing, that is cristae, the infoldings, which already I have told you. These particular infoldings, these are called cristae. Now the inner membrane, that is in the portion of the cristae, in some regions it consists of some racket-like structures. These racket-like structures are known as the elementary particles, or F0, F1 particles, or they are known as oxysomes. Okay, now each elementary particle, that means if we enlarge this portion, this particular portion, then we will see that this elementary particle, it consists of a stalk, a head and a base. Okay, the base is normally known as the F0 particle, then the stalk, and the head is called the F1 particle. Now each elementary particle, it functions as an ATPase enzyme. Okay, ATPase matlab here it will act as the center for ATP synthesis during oxidative phosphorylation. Now this portion actually we have to discuss later on. Okay, a complete portion is there, but just remember, as it is the main site of ATP synthesis, so definitely these elementary particles or the oxysomes or the F0, F1 particles which are present, they are basically involved in ATPase enzyme activity, that is the ATP synthesis process. Then at some points, that means between the inner and the outer membrane, at some points these two membranes come in contact. Those points are known as the adhesion sites. Okay, now enclosing the inner membrane is the inner chamber. This consists of matrix, and the matrix, it has protein particles, RNA, ribosome, DNA, and enzymes needed for various processes like Krebs cycle. Okay, then amino acid synthesis, fatty acid synthesis. So all enzymes which are required for these functions, all these are present in the inner matrix. Then here DNA is present. The DNA is naked one, and it is normally circular DNA. Now this is all about the structure of the mitochondria. Now we are telling that here DNA is present, ribosomes are present, isn't it? That means this particular structure is somewhat different than rest of the structure, and due to this presence of DNA, ribosome, proteins, enzymes, we called mitochondria as an semi-autonomous organelle. Okay, now why mitochondria shows actually autonomy? Because it has its own DNA. Okay, the very first point, it has its own DNA. And if DNA is present, that means it can replicate independently. Now it will definitely then help in production of or synthesis of RNA, that is its transcription process, mRNA, rRNA, tRNA, these are being synthesized. Then the organelle, it possesses their own ribosomes, which are the protein factories. So definitely RNA is prepared, ribosomes are there, so definitely protein synthesis will also somehow take place here. Then they have necessary enzymes which are required for different functions. Then they grow internally and they exist from a pre-existing mitochondria. That means these cells undergo division or binary fission and splits into two daughter cells. Okay, so due to these particular points, mitochondria is considered as a semi-autonomous organelle. Now, when we discuss about the functions of mitochondria, now definitely we are repeatedly telling that powerhouse. So the main function is ATP synthesis. Then besides that, it produces some intermediates which are necessary for synthesis of various biochemicals. Okay, then they help in synthesis of enzymes, amino acids. Okay, synthesis of amino acids take place like glutamic acid, aspartic acid. Then they also store and release calciums when required. Okay, so all these are the important functions of mitochondria. So as told earlier, when we are discussing about a particular organelle, definitely its structure, its history, then its function. If any important things are there, all things are to be explained properly, step by step, including its diagram. So diagram already as described here. Okay, all these points are very important and you have to cover everything when you are writing the topic mitochondria. Okay, now as you can see here, as mentioned, this is the elementary particles or the oxysomes which are present in the cristae. Okay, now if we enlarge this one, so it becomes, or it appears like a tennis racket like structure. So here you can see this is the F0 particle, the base. This is the stalk portion and this is the head portion. This is the point through which the protons enter through the cell membrane. Okay, this is the stalk region. When the protons enter through this one, this produces the enzyme part. So it helps in combination of ADP and inorganic phosphate to produce the ATP molecule. Okay, so this is the oxysome or F1 particle. So hope this video is clear to you. Go through the video, go through the notes. If you have any problem, then let me know.